Very good morning, students. In this lecture, we are talking about a very important system of earthworm, which is the reproductive system. Now, you may get a very good question, or you can say a full-fledged question on the reproductive system, as you may get a question on explain the male reproductive system of earthworm, or you may get a question on the female reproductive system of earthworm, or you may get a complete whole question on the reproductive system of earthworm. And if you get a whole reproductive system, then you have to take up both the male and the female reproductive systems into account. Now this system is again very important because this is a part of your dissection in the practicals. So to understand this particular system, this is a mandatory thing for you that you have to go with this system because it is in theory as well as in the practicals. So students, as the system seems quite difficult, but I'll be explaining to you in a very easy manner, and we will be taking all the parts of this reproductive system one by one from top to bottom. So we'll be seeing every organ which is present in the reproductive system one by one. So students, first of all, we have these spermatical pores. So as we have discussed in the morphology of the earthworm, that the earthworm has got 4 pairs of spermatical pores which are present on the septae of or the annuli of 5th, 6th, 6th, 7th, 7th, 8th and 8th, 9th segment. So these openings are on the segment number 6, 7, 8 and 9. So students, this is the very first spermatical bag, you can say, and this is of the second or the 7th segment, this is of the 8th segment, and this is of the 9th segment. So 4 are on one side and 4 are on the other side. Now if we take a spermatical bag into account, a single spermatheca, then this particular bag has got a particular structure or a particular shape, you can say, that it is a balloon like structure, and it has got a reservoir bag also which is present on this side. So this is a very small bag which is acting as a reservoir to store the sperms. So students, the function of these spermathecae is to store the sperms, but these sperms are not of this particular earthworm. This is the most important thing to note, that the sperms present in these bags, they are of the other earthworm because there is cross fertilization. So whenever this earthworm will receive sperms from the other one, these will be stored in the spermatical bags. So this single bag is called as a spermatheca. So we have got 4 pairs of spermathecae, and where they open, they are the spermatical pores. So those we have discussed in the morphology. So this is the very first part of the female reproductive system. So as they are receiving the sperms and they are storing the sperms, so they are actually a part of female reproductive system. So many of the students, they might take them as in the male reproductive system because they are having sperms inside them, but actually they are receiving the sperms. So they are a part of female reproductive system. So that was the first part of the reproductive system as a whole. So next student we have, these are the ovaries. And if we go for segment number 13, you are finding these ovaries. So they are two in number. They are ovular. They have got many eggs in it. So they are two in number and they are present in the segment number 13. And here one thing is to note that they are sticked. They are sticking to the septa of the 12th and the 13th segment. So they are hanging down into the 13 segments. Now below the ovaries, we have got two ovarian funnels. So these are the funnels. One is on the left side and one is on the right side. These funnels, they have got the ovarian tubules. So these are the tubes which are going down and they are taking the ova which are coming from the ovary. So ovary will put the ova into these funnels and they will be coming down, and this particular funnel, they are joining together, they are opening on the next segment which is the 14th segment. So students, ovary is present in the segment number 13 and the female genital pore is opening in the segment number 14. So that was also discussed in the morphology of the earthworm. If you remember, 14, 15 and 16, that was the clitellar part, and in the 14th segment you have the female genital pore. So here you can see that this whole part is the clitellar part. So this is the segment number 14, this is segment number 15, and this is segment number 16th. So in the 14th segment you have the female genital pore. So I think you are clear about this particular system, and this is the female reproductive system in case of the earthworm. Now rest of the structures which are present over here, they are belonging to the male reproductive system. Now students, in the male reproductive system, first of all we have to go for the testes. Now we have got two pairs of testes. That means 4 in number. Now where are they present? They are of blue color. Here they are shown in blue color and they are present in segment number 10th and 11th. So these are 4 pairs. So 2 are on the left side in the 10th segment and then we have 2 in the 11th segment. So they are very small in size and they are present in 10th and 11th segment. Now students, after that we have got the next structure which is the seminal vesicle. Now these are bag-like structures. These are again 4 in number. 2 are on the left side, 2 are on the right side. Now these violet colored bodies, the bags, they are the seminal vesicles. Now what they do is, what the seminal vesicles are doing, that they are storing the sperms. Now what happens, that the sperms which are produced by the testes of 10th segment. Now if we take the testes of 10th segment, suppose if we take this particular testes, these are producing sperms and these are poured into the seminal vesicle of the 11th segment. And the sperms which are produced by the testes of 11th segment, they are poured into the seminal vesicle of 12th segment. So this is something which should be remembered very carefully. So if you have the testes in the 10th segment, they are giving off the sperms into the 11th segment, and the testes of 11th segment are giving off the sperms into the seminal vesicles of 12th segment. So this is a very important thing to note. So ultimately, the sperms, they are coming into the violet bags. Now the sperms are in these violet bags, and they are stored over here. Now from these bags, four vas deferens, or you can say vasa differentia, they are going down, which are shown here in yellow color. So these are again in pairs. So these are four in number. Two are coming on the left side from the seminal vesicles of 11th and 12th of the left side. Two are coming on the right side from the seminal vesicles of the right side. So they are taking the sperms downwards on both the sides. So ultimately, the sperms are going down up till the segment number 17th. Now just see. Now we have got two prostate glands. So these blue glands, they are the prostate glands, and they are producing prostatic fluid. Now what they do, their secretion, it mixes with the sperms to form the semen, and that semen will be going out of the earthworm. Now what is happening, that sperms are coming down towards the prostate gland, and prostatic fluid, it is coming out of these blue vessels, and the sperms, they mix together into this prostatic fluid at this particular region. So here is the mixing of the sperms and the prostatic fluid. So sperms are coming from upwards downwardly, and the prostatic fluid is coming into this direction. So both they mix and they come out at segment number 18th. So students, this is a very important thing, that they are opening at the segment number 18th here. So if you remember the morphology of the earthworm, we had discussed that segment number 18th has got two male genital openings. So these are the two openings. This is the first opening, and this is the second opening. So these are the tubes. So these tubes are called as the common spermatic and prostatic ducts. So this is a spermatic duct, and this is a prostatic duct. Both are joining together. Spermatic and prostatic duct, they join together to form a common prostatic and spermatic duct, and it is opening out as the male genital pore on segment number 18th. So that's why the male genital pores are on segment number 18th. Now again, we have discussed that in 18th we have got two male genital pores. What was in 17th and 19th? Now if we are talking about 17 and 19th segment, we had genital papillae. So if we go back for the morphology of the earthworm, on the ventral side we had four genital papillae. Two are on the 17th segment and two are on the 19th segment. So here you can very well see these are the accessory glands which are present in the 19th and the 17th segments, and these are opening out as the genital papillae, and these accessory glands are producing a sticky fluid which is helping in sticking of the two earthworms while sharing of the sperms. So students, that was the male reproductive system. So if we take the whole reproductive system once again, very briefly, then these are the spermaticae, which are storing the sperms of the other earthworm. That is a female reproductive system part. And then we have the ovaries in segment number 13th. Then we have ovarian funnels. Then we have ovarian tubules. They are opening at segment number 14th. So that was the female reproductive system. That is very, very easy. If we go for the male reproductive system, we have got the testes in 10th and 11th segment. Then we have the seminal vesicles in 11th and 12th segment. Then we have the vas deferens, the two pairs of vas differentia, vasa differentia. So these are the vasa differentia, and on the lower side they are joining the prostatic ducts, and they make the common prostatic and spermatic duct, which is opening at segment number 18th. So we have two male genital pores on 18th. And if we talk about the accessory glands, these are present in the 17th and the 19th segment, and they are opening out as genital papillae, which are giving you the sticky fluid for sticking together. So students, that was about the reproductive system of the earthworm. And now we will be seeing that how the process of fertilization occurs and how the earthworm, they are giving out the cocoons in the next part of the video. This diagram shows that how the fertilization occurs in the earthworm. Now students, we have to first of all take into consideration the reproductive system of one earthworm first of all. Then if we start with the spermaticae, these are present on the 5th, 6th, 6th, 7th, 7th, 8th and 8th, 9th annuli of the earthworm. So these are present in 6, 7, 8 and 9th segment. Then we have the female genital pore. So we have got this female genital pore at segment number 14th. So after this, on the upper earthworm, you can have the female genital pore over here in the 14th segment. If we go with the genital papillae or the male genital pore, you can say this is on the 18th segment. So these are the male genital pore. So what I want to say is that the two earthworms, they stick together in such a fashion that the male reproductive pores, they come after the spermaticae of the second earthworm. This is a very, very important part in fertilization. Now, this is to be mentioned that the male reproductive pores, they are coming on the top of the spermaticae of the second earthworm. Now, if we take mutually on the other side, so these are the male genital pores of the second earthworm, and they are coming against the spermaticae of the first earthworm. So what happens that there is an exchange of the sperms from the male genital pore to the spermaticae of the first, and from the male of the first to the spermaticae of the second. So this is a kind of mutual exchange of the sperms. Now after the exchange of the sperms, these two earthworms, they separate out. So what happens that they will separate out. Now if this is the earthworm after fertilization, then what will be the condition that these spermaticae, now they have the sperms of the earthworm number 2. If this is the earthworm number 1, then it has got the sperms of two in its spermathecae. Now this is the condition. So I think this is very much clear to you. Okay, after this, what happens? Now there is a particular structure which is called as the clitellum. Now students, this part is called as the clitellum. So it is containing segments number 14th, 15th and 16th. We all know this. And on the segment number 14th, we have got the female genital pore. Now students, what happens? That the clitellum has got some special cells which are called as the ootheca forming cells. So when I was discussing the body wall of earthworm, there I have discussed that the clitellar part has got special cells which are called as the egg case forming cells or ootheca forming cells. Now what happens here is that suppose these are the ootheca forming cells which are present on the clitellum of this earthworm, and these ootheca forming cells will form an ootheca layer over the clitellum. Now suppose this is that particular layer which is formed over the clitellar part. Now it is present around the clitellum. Now in this particular ootheca or the egg case layer, what will be poured from this particular female genital pore? These are the eggs. The eggs come out of this female genital pore from 14th segment into this egg case. Now here you can consider blue colored as eggs. So these are the eggs which are poured into this particular ootheca from segment number 14th. Now what happens? This particular layer, it is separated from the body and it travels towards the anterior end. Now with the bodily contractions of the earthworm, this layer is traveling towards the anterior end. Now I'll be trying to redraw this particular layer. Suppose this layer is now coming onto this position. Now it has come near the spermathecae. After traveling onto the anterior side, this egg case, now it is very close, or you can say over the spermathecae. So what were these blue color dots? These were the eggs which were put from the female genital pore which we have discussed earlier. So these are the eggs. So these are large in number. Now what is being poured from the spermathecae into this egg case? Now these are the sperms. So these red color dots, these are the sperms of the other earthworm which were stored in these spermathecae while fertilization. So that means cross fertilization occurs in this particular egg case. And now this egg case further goes to the anterior part of the body, and now it is going for its final discharging out of this earthworm. Now after going further in the forward direction, this particular egg case will be coming out of this earthworm and it will close from both the sides and it will become a spindle shaped structure like this. Now if I draw it, and it becomes just like this. comes out and it forms an egg case. Now in this egg case, what we have is a number of eggs of earthworm number 1 and a number of sperms of earthworm number 2. So in this egg case or ootheca, fertilization will occur. Now after fertilization, what will happen? This is the formation of the zygote. Now after fertilization, we have the zygote formed in this particular egg case or the ootheca. This is said that scientists, they have seen that only one zygote, it will grow and it will form a juvenile in this particular egg case. So that means the zygote will be forming a juvenile which is 1 in a number. So that means in spite of being like hundreds of eggs in this particular ootheca, only one earthworm will develop out of this single ootheca. So I think this is very much clear to you that how the fertilization in earthworm takes place, how the exchange of the sperms takes place, what is the role of clitellum in forming the ootheca or the egg case, which is violet colored over here. Then when this ootheca layer is formed on the clitellum, the eggs are given into it, the blue colored eggs. Then it goes in the forward direction with the bodily movements of the earthworm. Then it goes up till the level of the spermathecae. The red colored sperms, which are shown here in red color, they are given out of the spermatical bags, which are of the other earthworm, and it is coming out now and it becomes spindle shaped. Both the sides they close, and inside it the fertilization occurs. So here the fertilization is of external type. The fertilization is not internal, it is external fertilization inside the cocoon. Though it is inside the cocoon, but it is outside the body of the earthworm. So that's why we call it as external fertilization. So after fertilization, many zygotes are formed, but only one zygote will develop into one juvenile that will develop into one adult earthworm. So students, that was the fertilization and the development of the earthworm, and with this we finish with the Pheretima posthema and with our syllabus. Thank you very much.